Hello, hello. It's been quite a minute. Um, yeah, it's probably been about a month now since the eclipse window. What is it now? April, technically the 9th. Astrologically, planetarily, it's a uh, Mercury night, but Gregorian calendar, it is Thursday, and it is a sun hour. So the moon is in Capricorn, the sun is in Aries, and yeah, it has been quite a minute. There's a lot of intensity happening. Of course, that's pretty undeniable. Um, it's important to also reclaim our power, our energy. And I know there's a lot happening in the world, in several countries, and maybe even you know, in our own neighborhood, maybe even in our own homes. But it's important to reconnect with ourselves and disconnect and limit our intake of what is being projected on the screens and the news feeds. Uh, there's so much more to life than these industrial complex shenanigans. And yeah, I know it's easier said than done. Um, we've lived in eras, generations of this program, and yeah, we're just kind of used to falling back into those routines of turning on the news or engaging in those water cooler conversations of current events. But we have to, if there were lessons from all of these planets that have been in Pisces and are moving into Aries, the lessons have been, and they still are, about setting boundaries, spiritual boundaries, energetic boundaries. Mars is still in Pisces at the moment and making a cooperative, creative aspect to Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is like sudden breakthroughs, unexpected events. And Uranus is disruptive, but also brings silver linings. And so with Mars, Mars is traditionally the planet of war, but it is severing, it is removing yourself from the situation or cutting ties. And in the sign of Pisces, Mars in Pisces is defending, protecting your energy. And so, with this relationship between Mars and Uranus, Uranus and Taurus, Taurus is all about self worth and stability, like true sustainable stability. And in the sign of Taurus is about earth and the beautiful blessings that are all around us. And so, between Mars and Uranus, this compatible conversation that's happening, I feel like this is an opportunity for us to really detach from those old systems that have kept us from accessing our self worth, from those systems that have suppressed our power, making us believe that we were unworthy and there was a hierarchy of class or, financial system or whatever it might be where there was them and us. And that is simply not true. And it's all coming to the surface that these systems have been intentionally put in place, from the finance systems to news and media. Like everything has been uh, very subtly and psychologically orchestrated to keep a division between those who have been in control and those who have been told that we had no control, particularly the minorities, whether that's, people of color, women, children, of course. And this illusion of separation is dissolving. And I know it's uh, difficult to let go of those systems, like those systems of false stability, where, these systems have used fear tactics to keep us like running in this wheel. And it's not going to be easy. It's not easy. I mean, people have been doing it, but they've also been shunned from society over the past years because it's not widely popular, it's not widely accepted. So they've been shunned, outcast from their family or their circles, told that they were crazy. But with all of this truth that's coming to light, we're going to have to get comfortable with being criminals. Like, I mean, we are not doing any harm. We have to remember that as long as we do no harm, then we are not criminals. And there's so many resources out there now available to research yourself how the systems have been operating and how much power that we actually do have and how we are taken care of by natural law. Like we are moving into an era of destroying these man made laws. Like the Constitution is going to be rewritten. Like I've said that I've said that a while ago, especially with Uranus moving into Gemini. Gemini is all about communication and writing. And the United States is going to have a Uranus return. So it's going to be a revision, like a complete, like when we celebrate the day we were born, the sun comes back and we have like this renewed sense of vitality and personality. When any planet experiences a return, it is a revitalization of those energies. So Uranus in Gemini is in the United States Sibley chart at 8 degrees. And Uranus is getting ready to move into Gemini. It's currently in Taurus. The last degree, which is 29 degrees, the most extreme expression of Taurus. And when Uranus moves into Gemini, it won't be for another few years before it reaches the exact Uranus return in the United States Sibley chart. But when it does that, it's going to be trining. It's going to be in a flowing conversation with Pluto and Aquarius. And Pluto and Aquarius is the collective system, like whether that's technology, communities, humanity as a whole. One analogy that I like to use to describe Aquarius, that has to do with the Leo Aquarius axis, is how Leo is the star and Aquarius is the constellation. And funny enough, the United States South Node is in Aquarius at 6 degrees. And so Pluto is going to be stationing retrograde, kind of jumping around, stationing retrograde beginning of May, right before it hits the United States South Node. But Uranus and Gemini will be in a trine to Pluto, the transiting Pluto and Aquarius, and the United States South Node. The South Node is the energy that uh, things are diminished in that sign. So the United States South Node is in Aquarius. So the shadow sides of Aquarius will come up, and Uranus and Pluto will work together to dig up all of those shadows and uproot them, compost them, and turn it into something sustainable. Rewriting the Constitution, rewriting the narratives that have been imposed on us, that have been lies over the past, what, 300 years? Wait, it's 2026, so 1776, 220, 250 years. Um, and so for the past hundreds of years, we've been functioning in this matrix of illusions and lies and false narratives. And I mean, that's across the board, from the way we earn a living and earn a paycheck, how we buy our groceries, feed ourselves, and buy a house, and, all these basic necessities of life. We have to forget the past and like reimagine how we are able to live in pure limitlessness. And it sounds kind of off the wall now, but this is something that is part of natural law. And we are humans, we are of the earth as well. We are not above nature at all. Quite the contrast. Nature, Mother Nature, Gaia, is putting her foot down. Like there's so many planetary configurations that speak to how the Earth is like doing, like having this rebirth. But there's a whole new layer that is falling apart, for something new to come about. And it's something that we have to lean into and set aside our ego rather than fighting, rather than resisting the flows of nature. We have to lean into it and surrender. Like that's the major theme right now. Like for the past, I want to say, year and a half, maybe two, maybe even 5 years, it's been this theme of releasing. Like all these things are coming up that have been shocking and, you know, unbelievable. I mean, even our government systems, the governments or the authorities in our government have been saying the most outlandish things. It's like this can't be real. So all of these things are coming to the surface so that we can disconnect from those energies. Like the more we give it our attention, the more energy and the more power they get from us. So we want to keep that from happening and put that energy into ourselves, into one another. There was a post that a fellow astrologer shared, Vanessa Guy, astro underscore woke, and she made an excellent point about how we shouldn't be looking at Trump's birth chart, like, and giving him all this credit for what's happening. Like he's the one person, the one white man who has all this power to create all this chaos. And her point was that he was elected twice, like it's the people of the country that made that decision. And so the people of a country is represented by the moon in the country's chart. So every country has a birth chart as well. And for the United States of America, it was the Declaration of Independence. So July 4th, 1776, Pennsylvania. It's right. Wait, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. What is the? Well, it was Washington D.C. or Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Um, and so in that chart, it's a Aquarius moon at 27 degrees. And so Aquarius is a fixed sign. And so right now, 27 degrees Aquarius is in a square to Uranus, which is 29 degrees Taurus. And Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. And so it's a moon, which represents the people, um, energy squaring or in a tight, tense aspect to Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus is the higher mind. It is the higher octave of Mercury. It's like these un like things that are out of our control. Like this is universe saying like this is going to break down and there's going to be this epiphany, whether you like it or not. And so this is squaring the Aquarius moon of the United States, which, in Aquarius, the moon in Aquarius is all about independence and freedom and doing things your own way, marching to the beat of your own drum. And with Uranus and a square to that, it's creating this big tension. And um, it's worth looking at the chart of the United States to see how this is really playing out rather than giving all of this energy and power to the one man who's just been really more of a culmination of energies over the past hundreds of years, where all of these other white patriarchs have allowed this to build. So now we're in this like capitalistic inertia where it's coming to a head, like it is coming to the most extreme point where the pendulum is, swung to the most furthest it can swing before it starts to swing back. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And the universe is actually giving us a gentle experience with this. Right now Mars is in Pisces at the last degree, and it's getting ready to enter Aries. And Mars is the ruler of Aries, so it's very comfortable in Aries. Mars is all about aggression and defending oneself and athleticism, and really going after, um, going after it. And as soon as Mars enters Aries, he's going to meet up with Neptune, which is the modern ruler of Pisces. And Neptune makes things a little uh, less clear. It can be very foggy and is connected to, oneness, and it blurs any kind of lines. It's also connected to like the unseen things that we can't touch, and like the vibe. There's like whenever you feel an energy, like when you walk into a room and you can feel that energy, that's Neptune, like whatever that collective feeling is. And so with Mars moving into Uranus, I mean, with Mars moving into Aries, after having just had this conversation with Uranus, like breaking free and really having these breakthroughs and these epiphanies about detaching from the system and reclaiming your own power, reclaiming your own energy. The tendency that I imagine is happening as Mars moves into Aries and meets up with Neptune is the um like checking in with the collective to see if anybody else is doing what they feel like they need to be doing, like breaking free, having this impetus for sovereignty, or like wanting to like cut themselves off from the system, and not participating, like boycotting all these companies and just completely going scorch earth. I guess that's the term. And yeah, that's kind of, you know, it's it is kind of where we're at. But with Neptune in the mix, this kind of softens that impetus. And I think the more we look into the collective, and this could be like looking on social media to see, to like seek validation to see if anybody else is doing this like safely or if anybody's getting in trouble for, speaking out. This can help us, give us the courage to continue, like give us the motivation to gather together and participate in those mutual aid efforts or connect with communities and really practice that sacred economy concept where you put your energy and attention, your funds, your resources into one another, into people that you know and care about, rather than succumbing to those systems and industries of convenience like Amazon and all these billionaire owning companies that have sold us, convenience at the expense of all of their employees, like working for working for nothing or having these like shitty work environments or toxic work environments and providing products that are cheaply made or not, or they don't have um, like any kind of like earthly compassion, or they're not in line with your beliefs. Like our beliefs have shifted dramatically now that we've learned so much about how things are produced or processed, or what's in our food, or plastic being a killer of reproductive systems, and all these chemicals that are floating around, and who knows what's in the air, like the chemtrails. There's actually a website, a group of lawyers who are collecting information. They're called the geofight.com, or you can upload your video of a chemtrail plane and connect it to, I forget the website, but if you go to thegeofight.com, it'll have that information where you can use this website that tracks planes that are in your area, and you screenshot the details and upload your video of the chemtrail plane that's happening in the skies. And so, yeah, side tangent, but now that we are aware of all of these things that are happening, our values have changed. And that's part of Uranus and Taurus too. Like Taurus is all about taking care of the earth and our self-worth and what we value. And Uranus is shaking those things up. Like now that we are aware of all of these things that are causing us harm, causing the earth harm, causing the animals, the birds, the trees harm, we are realigning, recalibrating our choices. Like we don't have to resort to Amazon. We don't have to, we have more choices than we are told that we have. Like we don't have to buy from people that we, or companies that we don't, corporations that we don't align with. We can support one another. That's how uh, communities and cultures have done in the way past, like before all of this convenience came about. And so I think it's gosh, what is the ice cream company? Ice cream for bears has a slogan or a motto or whatever. And it says the future of food is in the past. And so I love that. I love that quote, mantra, whatever, mission statement, because we are going back to the basics. And with all of the Aries planets, like we have the sun in Aries. What else is it there? The sun, Venus. No, Venus is in Taurus now, which is the ruler of Taurus as well as um, Libra. Uh, gosh, Libra. I mean, the sun is in Aries. Mars is Neptune. Saturn is in Aries. Uh, there are several asteroids. Pallas Athena is in Aries. And Pallas Athena is creative strategy, like intelligence. And in the sign of Aries, that's independence and being resourceful, self reliant, not having to rely on anybody else. This is really the invitation to cut ties with those misaligned systems, those misaligned jobs or relationships or whatever it might be, like relationships to money too. Like we have more options available to us. We just have to apply some grit and teach ourselves, like educate one another. There's so many people online that are sharing this information. It's only a matter of doing your research and like not relying on those mainstream media resources, because those are the ones who have been feeding us misinformation and lying to us and trying to keep us following this false narrative for the past hundreds of years. So checking your resources. um Sarah, I think, what's her name, Sarah underscore one love. I think she has a YouTube as well, but definitely on Instagram. But she is exposing so much information, and definitely, yeah, it's very straight to the point information. So yeah, Pallas Athena, Vesta in Aries. So that's about your devotion, your home and hearth. And in the sign of Aries, it's, making sure that you are making yourself happy. Like this is making sure that you are, you know, not building a life for someone else. You're not living your life and building someone else's dreams. These are dreams that you have been envisioning, and you are working on your own dreams, not someone else's dreams. So, not punching a time card in order to fatten the pockets of someone else. And then Neptune now at 4 degrees. Oh no, that's in June. Neptune in Aries is the soul alignment with whatever endeavors, whatever projects, whatever new ideas that we are envisioning for ourselves. And these are big, bold baby steps that we are taking. And this is not going to be like, off to the races, even if it is a fire horse year. Like these are steps with discernment. Like we have the motivation and the passion, but these are baby steps. Like we don't have the muscle memory to be able to just go. We have to, it's all about trial and error. We have to practice, but we have to try. We have to do our best. Not just try, but do our best, and like put one step in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. And it's going to be messy, and things are not going to be perfect. And that's part of the whole current south node in Virgo, the collective north and south node, which is getting ready to finish its cycle in Pisces and Virgo. So the north node is in Pisces, which is all about trusting the unknown, trusting your intuition, being more aware of your boundaries and your energy levels, getting enough rest, paying attention to your dreams because there's a lot of messages that come through your dreams. Um, so that's the north node. That's what we want more of. And then the south node, which is always going to be the opposite, is in Virgo. So Virgo is sticking to uh, methodical routines and the minute details, data, things that have been recorded and proven. And um, but a lot of truth, you know, is the kind of truth that is not proven. It's ethereal. And that's part of the North Node in Pisces. So the South Node in Virgo is letting go of the strict detail and routines. And Pisces and Virgo is that access of work, like being in service. It's also the access of healing. So physical healing, knowing what to eat, what not to eat, how to take care of yourself, what time to go to bed, all these little things that help us be this, one complete healthy human. And then Pisces is the spiritual health, like energetic boundaries and picking up on the vibes if you feel like you are in a unsafe environment, then knowing, um, like having that knowing of not being there anymore. And so just paying attention to your intuition. Virgo South Node is also, yeah, just letting go of criticism, self criticism, criticism of others, judgment, being judgmental. Um, yeah, there's a lot in the unknown, and also work, these 9 to 5 or, whatever strict hours, doing everything by the book, like the book is being thrown out. Like that's pretty much South Node in Virgo. Um, and then these nodes are going to be moving in, they move backwards through the zodiac. So right now they're at 8 degrees. So 8 degrees Pisces and 8 degrees Virgo. So they're almost finished with this Pisces Virgo nodal cycle. And then they're going to move into North Node in Aquarius and South Node in Leo. So that's going to happen over the summer, like around end of July. So that's going to be a lot of energy shifts. But yeah, there is a lot of energies in Aries that thankfully we have Neptune that will kind of dampen those energies so it won't be like off to the races. And then it's going to meet up with Saturn. It'll meet up with Saturn. Um, Mars will meet up with Saturn around the 19th of April at 7 degrees. And then the sun will move into Taurus. And, the sun in Taurus likes to rest as well and be patient and relax. It's going to be able to, uh, like sun in Aries has that feeling of needing to do something all the time and like this like high octane, high energy um, performance or functioning. And in the sun in Taurus will be able to like relax and enjoy the fruits of our labor a little bit more. Um, And between now and then, Mercury will also have that same conversation with Uranus before Mercury moves into Aries. So having those epiphanies, um, having those breakthrough moments in conversations. And so we could get more validation about the choices that we're making to break free from the system. So right now it is the 8th or 9th. Mars is moving to Aries around noon, right after noon, 12:36. And then on next week, and it'll become exactly conjoined with Neptune on the 12th. So it takes a little while to get to 2 degrees Aries, which is where Neptune is. And so I would say on the 12th, like to, don't plan too much, and because it can be like a dampening kind of it can have a dampening kind of effect. Um and at that time the moon will be in I think the moon will be moving into Pisces at that time. So that's definitely an area, an energy of rest, relaxation, uh, feeling more inward, emotional. Um, but yeah, just, I don't want to get too far ahead. This is already, I don't know how long this is going, but yeah, I wanted to do something uh, a little bit different. And I've had these, thoughts running through my head for a while. It's just a matter of honoring my own energy as well. Um, you know, During the eclipse window, like end of February during March, I was toiling away. I mean, like writing these updates, and I wrote my last newsletter, I think the beginning of March, and it was right around then that I was rendered useless. Like literally, I had back spasms for 2, 3 days, which laid me out. And it was because my ego overrode my system, thinking that productivity was more important than rest. And so I had to take my own advice. But yeah, it was something that I really, it was humbling for sure. And as an astrologer, it's a it's a trip to it's almost like watching a video game, like I had the honor of unfolding clients' year ahead charts and seeing everything play out for them, as well as like watching a video game. Like they have these choice points and these, paths that they can choose, and, being able to look back and see the choices that they have made and how it's led them up to this point. Um, it's surreal, it's really such an honor and blessing to be able to translate these astrological symbols um, into layman's terms and be able to apply them and see how they play out in people's lives. And it's just amazing. Um, but yeah, we're in a time where the old systems of external validation, programs of false stability, just to keep going or hold it together, they're dissolving, and what's replacing them requires us to sit in absolute silence, like not just like keeping things together, like trying to hold things together and keep things going, because that is the old programming. which has been intentionally designed to keep us from the magic that we hold. We have so much magic and power and amazing abilities that have been suppressed and hidden, but more of it is coming online, and just through the people that I've been able to do readings for and people I talk to, they've also noticed how, you know, there's a optimistic feeling that they are getting. So we just have to keep that energy maintained, and like keep the faith, and not succumb to the programming and propaganda that is being fed to us. Um, yeah, having this awareness of the beauty and the golden age of what is to come is super powerful. Like the clients that I was able to give a yearly forecast to, like the transformation that I was able to witness, like, has been so fulfilling. And I know that, this kind of awareness is powerful, and it can bring so much enlightenment to so many situations if we just had, the follow through in like following our inkling. Like, don't ignore those nudges to understand what this means for you, like specifically your path, your pivots, your curiosities, which curiosities are like your divine intuition. So, yeah, these are not small recalibrations. These are huge universal reshuffles. Saturn and Neptune both moving into Aries, Uranus moving into Gemini. And then those three planets, Neptune and Saturn in Aries and Uranus in Gemini, making these cooperative, harmonious conversations to Pluto in Aquarius is considered the Barbeau basket. Andre Barbeau was a French astrologer that predicted the 2020 lockdown. And he calls this basket, um, it's also considered, oh gosh, what has it been called? Like well, he said it's like a splendid relaunch of civilization. And so these are going to happen, these conversations are forming, like they're moving into position, and the exactitude of these four planets, Neptune's or Saturn, Neptune in Aries, Uranus in Gemini, and Pluto in Aquarius, they will lock into a configuration at 4 degrees in their respective signs. And so if you have planets or points, and points are like your ascendant, midheaven, descendant, IC. So planets or points at or around 4 degrees of any sign, really, because they're all going to make a conversation with, one another. Um, then it is worth looking into. It is definitely, there is definitely a shift, in narrative, in trajectory that your life is taking, because it's happening for everyone. So, yeah. Um, I think that's all I wanted to mention. It was kind of all over the place. Didn't really, I mean, I had been planning to give some sort of update, but I didn't exactly prepare. But hopefully that'll was helpful, and hopefully that made sense. Uh, I would be so honored to be a guide for the coming times. These are unprecedented times that we are living in. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for now. Um, we are in a period of retrograde-free planets until May 6th, I believe. So there are no retrogrades happening at the moment. So any kind of plans or projects or, you know, wishes or dreams that you're pursuing now is a beautiful time to take those steps. May will be when Pluto goes retrograde, which even then is actually still good energy. Pluto retrograde is more of internal transformation. And so that pretty much tracks now. Like if you ask me, it's going to station at 5 degrees. And I think it's going to go back to almost 2 degrees. Um, so it'll be like this internal transformation that is asking for a review. Um, so it'll be less about like logistical uh, car trouble or messages or, things along those lines. Those are more like Mercury. Um, but yes, that uh, I hope that was helpful and I hope that made sense. Definitely hit me up if you're curious about unfolding your chart. And I wish you all the best. Until next time, it's hard to say when that's going to be again, but just have to, yeah, honor my energies and see what transpires. All right. Thank you so much for sticking around. Until next time.